Not only did that even the series, but that sent a message. It's not going to happen.
And now, the #1 moment. 2000 Western Conference Finals, Game 7.
This is one of the most talked about games in Laker history, obviously. And I think it's maybe one of the most important.
It's one of the iconic games in NBA history, not just Lakers history, NBA history.
And remember, the Lakers are up 3-1. Portland comes back to LA, wins Game 5, goes Game 6. Portland kind of roll the Lakers. So now you go to Game 7, and all the pressure seems to shift back to a young LA team.
In his 4th season since joining the team, Shaq still had not won a ring. Now with a new coach, they found themselves on the cusp of the NBA Finals, where after blowing a 3-1 series lead, faced an unexpected 7.
This was what it came down to for Phil Jackson's first year with the Lakers. He's the guy who's going to try to get Kobe and Shaq to realize his potential. They get all the way to Game 7 against the Portland Trailblazers, a much more veteran team.
You had Brian Grant, Rasheed Wallace, Sabonis. They had a crew. Scottie Pippen. Bad thing about that, Scottie Pippen knew the triangle like the back of his hand, so everything we did, they had a counter to it.
And I'm watching it, and they're getting lit up. I mean, lit up. And you're like, crap, I'm glad I didn't go. The Lakers are going to lose.
You play that game 100 times, they lose maybe 99 times, as everybody says. You've got a very talented Portland team who's got this huge lead.
And here they are, at home, down 15 points into the 4th quarter, in a Game 7, and you're saying, maybe next year.
And then the Lakers, just here they are. They're coming back.
Well, down and blocked by Kobe Bryant. I mean, that's his 4th block, and that was a beautiful block.
Everybody starts contributing. B. Shaw's got some big shots.
Corner to Shaw, his three-pointer, match play.
Then the comeback started. And you're like, nah.
In the air, 17-footer good. Kobe shooting over Pippen.
And you just see them hitting shots. Brian Shaw, Robert Horry.
Then you're like, oh my God. And things started flowing.
Really what a block shot by Shaq.
Rasheed Wallace short on the jumper. Pippen throwing it away. And next thing you know, Staples Center's going nuts.
Shaq holds it up against the Shaw. He'll shoot the 3 for you. He hit it. He hit it. 75 all. A 15-0 run.
Comes down to the end. And, yeah, the image, the sounds, the emotion, the passion, the moment.
1 minute to play. 4-point limit, 3-pointer by Pippen, no good. Rebound Shaq. Now you're in control.
This moment, it all comes down to is, can these two guys work together with one another, Kobe and Shaq?
What you do now is dribble, and all you do is 4.
The crowd's already going crazy because we've come back from so many points down.
Kobe crossover, gets by Pippen, shows him that you're old, I'm now young.
Draws 3 defenders. You see Shaq in the background holding up the arm.
And all of a sudden, you think Kobe's shooting a floater, but it's actually a pass.
My first thought was Kobe threw the ball too high. It seemed like he threw it way up there. I didn't think Shaq could get it. It was like on its way to the 300 level seats.
And, Shaq is an incredible athlete, but you're not really used to seeing him go a couple feet above the rim to finish it.
And I just remember seeing the ball float through the sky, and then out of nowhere, Shaq comes down and he dunks that. And the whole Staples Center just explodes.
The loudest I've ever heard the building. That was the play that put the Lakers ahead for good. And I looked around, and I could swear the building was moving.
A perfect pass to Shaq and Kobe.
Shaquille dunked it one-handed, and then he ran back to the bench. It was a timeout, and he had his arms out like this and his eyes bulging.
Shaq running down the court like...
And he had that, that...
How can you not remember Shaq's eyes after he made that play? Genuine excitement from one of the bigger, funner kids to ever play the game.
As big as he is, as menacing as he can be, he's a little boy. And that little boy came out on the way back down the court.
The thing about Shaq, he enjoys the camaraderie of his teammates as much as he does the wins and losses. Some guys be thinking, we're going to the finals. I think Shaq, it was, hey, I'm going to the finals, guys, to get a hug.
This was the most remarkable comeback victory I've ever witnessed.
That was a galvanizing moment for Shaq. It was also this idea that Kobe and Shaq were really playing together in a visceral way.
Here, this pivotal moment, and these two giants in the game that don't get along, and Kobe puts it up for Shaq, and he finishes it. Despite all the other stuff that happened off the court, the tension and whatever, when they were playing together,
Those two guys were incredible. Shaq's called them the best two-man combination in NBA history, and I'm certainly not going to argue.
And so you had the sense that everybody was on the same page, and Shaquille O'Neal, well, I'll tell you what, that's a phenomenal play to watch even today.
Kobe's down the middle. He's in deep. Throws to Shaq. Strong dunk.
When Shaq catches it and just hammers it down, that's showtime. It reincarnated from the 80s right there at Staples Center.
This game is over. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is in the refrigerator.
That's one of those moments that every Laker fan will remember where they were when that happened.
And the double!
Nobody will ever forget this game. If you're a Laker fan, it's right here to your heart and your emotion.
Every sport, there's always a moment where it's kind of the tipping point, the turning point, the momentum swings, and that was that moment.
That was the moment that everybody realized that this guy who never won anything coming here and who had 3 NBA titles in front of him, we realized that he could do the job, that he could be the guy, that he could be the next dominating big man.
The best moment of Shaquille O'Neal as a Los Angeles Laker has to be the alley-oop from Kobe to Shaq. I mean, it really encapsulates that era, those 3 championships. It was the tip-off moment that got them to the finals, got them over the hump.
This represents that era of Laker basketball. The 2 of the greatest players to ever play the game, playing together, in concert together, making it happen, an improbable win when they needed to make it happen, and the beginning of a championship era right there. What a moment. And for Shaq to have the emphatic point and the throwdown at the time of the lob, great moment in Laker basketball.